1, 2, 3, 4, let's go.
It's Heartbeat.
It's a fabulous show.
Alaska.
Hi, Heartbeat Alaska.
It's Heartbeat. Alaska.
Pull up a chair and enjoy the show.
Hear it from Sitka to Barrow. Gather around for Jeannie's show. It's the Aleut, the Indian and the Eskimo. It's the Aleut, the Indian and the Eskimo.
Welcome one, welcome all.
Hello and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News, Native Information. I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you so very much for joining me. This week we traveled to my ancestral home grounds, to the Arctic, this time to Wainwright, Alaska. I have many relatives in Wainwright. Wainwright, Alaska, a beautiful, beautiful village right on the coastline. From the spotted seal to the white front goose, the Inupiat people who live in Wainwright, Alaska, still live off the land. Yes, in the year 2003. They hunt, they fish, they trap. They get most of their food from what God has given them, their surrounding area. And today we learn all about how they live. Fascinating world, the Arctic. But it's home to these people. Some people say that a giant salamander fell from the sky, landing so hard that it formed Wainwright Inlet in the reptilian-shaped Cook River. Of course, that is merely a fable that makes the elders of the area chuckle when they hear it. But you do have to admit, it does kind of look like a giant salamander. Regardless of what the area looks like, Wainwright sounds completely different. When the wind is calm, you can hear birds chirping and children playing, but when the wind is blowing, Wainwright becomes the town of sound. Located on the coast of the Chukchi Sea, southwest of Barrow, lies the community of Wainwright, Alaska, a traditional Inupiat community that is home for almost 600 people who still practice the ways of their ancestors, living a subsistence lifestyle. From the sea, they take their bowhead whales, walrus, and spotted seal. From the land comes the caribou, wolverine, ducks, and geese, bear, greens, and berries that make up the Inupiat diet. Western culture has influenced a portion of their way of life, such as dog sled being replaced by snow machine, or the outboard motor replacing paddles. But these changes from the old ways are mere tools to make their subsistence lifestyle easier and quicker. Surviving in the rugged conditions of the far north requires knowledge, training, and instinct. Through the elders of the village, these values are passed down from old to young. Edwin Tagruk, or Buddy Boy, as everyone else knows him, spends much of his time hunting, gathering food for the long winter ahead. His target today? A spotted seal. In his lifetime, Buddy Boy has taken several seal for his family and has become very good at it. From the edge of the ice, Buddy Boy patiently waits for his seal to appear. One shot, and this hunter has enough meat to last a while. The traditional tool for retrieving the seal is called a Panik. When it is thrown accurately, it is an effective tool. Unless the seal is just too far to reach, then it's time to hop in the outboard. With the help of others, the seal is brought back to Benjamin, where he cleans it with speed and accuracy. In less than 10 minutes, the seal is completely cleaned and portioned. Hunting waterfowl is another popular way the hunters of Wainwright put food on the table. The white front or speckled belly goose is common to these parts of the country, and today it's the intended prey for Buddy Boy and his cousin, Jerry Amawak.
Yesterday they were really flying. Got 14 of them. Had a blast. It was only like 4 hours though and got windy.
Today, however, the wind and cold have kept the geese at bay. For the first half hour, the action was slow and discouraging. With eyes steadily panning the sky and tundra, a single goose is spotted, heading right towards the blind.
Shoot it down, shoot it down.
With one down, these guys have their first decoy to attract other geese. It's back to the blind, and all eyes forward, back, and side to side.
Man, they're coming straight for us.
Off in the distance, a flock of brant have come off the water and are making their way inland. For kicks, the guys try calling the brant. Surprisingly, the flock turns towards the hunters, and these guys are ready for them.
First brand of the year. Money. Pretty nice. The black brand. Sure, it's nice when they come close.
Besides the two birds that have been shot today, there weren't too many other birds coming close to the blind, except for this little camera-friendly guy.
He wants to be on Heartbeat, Alaska.
The guys were getting ready to pack it up when another goose was spotted heading right for them.
No, take him. Shoot him now. We're gonna go out whaling and go, I don't know, just go check it out.
In the meantime, Isaac Panik and his crew were preparing to head out on the ice to set up camp and go whale hunting. Preparation is the key to survival on the frozen tundra and shifting ice packs that serve as hunting grounds for the Inupiat people of Wainwright. But even the most intense training and preparation can't stand up to the gale force winds and crashing waves that are ultimately the deciding factor for the hunters of this Inupiat village.
We're going to set up camp and see what we can do. It depends on Mother Nature. We don't go by time or schedules, but when the weather weather. It depends on Mother Nature.
I really love stories about the Arctic because that is where my ancestors are from. My grandfather, Tony Gill, was born in Point Hope, and he lived and taught throughout the North. Wainwright, Alaska was one of his home villages. And this village is exciting. I'm so glad that you joined us today as we learn more. We saw young men hunting birds and seals, and now let's learn more of the traditional ways of the Inupiat people from the elders. On our visit to Wainwright, we were fortunate enough to be able to sit down with local elders Glenn Shodla and Gregg Tagarook Sr. to learn a little history about the area and the people. Being from the area for their entire lives, these two gentlemen have seen changes that you and I could only imagine, or maybe not imagine. For example, in the early 40s, when the first schools were introduced, people from many small villages around the area would move to Wainwright to put their children in school. In some cases, this would be the end of a village site. Gregg Tagarook Sr. recalls.
About here, some few houses, they're still visible, and right here in the Inupiat. But I don't know if this one was exist at that time. Nobody knows about this one. It's an old village. That's probably the one who have moved away from there and go down this way.
Then they moved to Wainwright.
Yeah.
They also recall how their fathers gave them reindeer to tend to when they were old enough to share the responsibility.
When I was old enough to know, my dad gave me 10 reindeer. So that while I was going, they were going with me until I was about 15, 16 years old. I got over 100 reindeer of my own.
Even myself, there was a paper when I was growing up after my dad died. There were old papers in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then I saw that I had 10 reindeers transferred to me. And I don't know where they are now.
Local elder Helen Peetook remembers her childhood growing up in Wainwright.
I just see the change of way of life of Wainwright. When we were growing up, we didn't have no TVs, no electricity, no refrigerators. But we always find something to do after work, after school, after evenings. We always find something to do, like seek and hide, play ball, or snowball, or whatever.
Today, one of the things the kids in Wainwright like to do is swing, but this is no ordinary swing. Something else that occupies their time is... In fact, it's perhaps the most popular activity for these guys.
There we go.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that in the villages of Alaska, basketball rules when it comes to indoor activities. And with the long, dark winters that these Inupiat people endure, basketball is a daily event. Another way to occupy time in the village is to know a craft. There are many talented artists in Wainwright. Whether it be sewing or carving, these people know how to create. From the mouth of the bowhead whale, a main staple of the Inupiat diet, comes the prized baleen, which is a popular medium for carvers and engravers like Edwin Tagruk. Although Edwin makes his living by working at the water plant, he enjoys a timeless tradition of scrimshawing baleen, which was taught to him by elders of the community.
Oh, I've been doing this for about 20 years, I guess you could say, maybe longer. I just enjoy doing it. I mean, I don't do it often, but when I do it just to feel good about myself sometimes. Maybe I could sell it. Maybe I could give it away as a gift or mount it on my wall. People tell me not to waste my talent. So I do it sometimes just to prove it. I mean, I don't know if I'm proving anything, but yeah, I guess you could say I just get satisfaction from it.
It may seem like a rather easy thing to do, to scrimshaw a picture or scenery onto baleen, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The baleen must be smoothed out and polished before the actual engraving can take place. This is where the elbow grease and sore arms come into play.
I think I'm ready to go inside. It's warm. I think I can get it down pretty good, but I got some more scratches in there, but I'll try to get it down real good.
After the hand sanding is completed, Edwin switches to a finer grade of sandpaper. In this case, an SOS pad serves his purpose well. It's obvious that Edwin takes his artwork seriously, but even more important to him is his family, his job, and the well-being of his people.
I work at the water plant, wastewater plant sometimes. Make sure the water's clean, drinkable, safe to drink, I should say. Our water purification system is state-of-the-art, man. We use our nanofilters, reverse osmosis, membranes. We take care of everybody, I guess you could say. I mean, they drink our water, and we have to make sure that it's clean and safe to drink. Because I have to drink the water too, right?
It's this sense of pride and ownership that the youth of Wainwright have for their community that will ensure that the Inupiat culture will continue on into the future for centuries to come. From the smiles on their faces to the stories from yesteryear, the pride of the Inupiat people of Wainwright is their strength. It's a strength that is undeniable and unquestionable. This pride is obvious, especially as we watch Edwin Tagruk meticulously draw his vision onto the polished baleen, a vision that reflects his life and his experiences growing up in Wainwright.
This part here is my favorite part. Because I like to draw, you know, with a pencil. I'm trying to put in a caribou. If I could just get it right. I need to get this artwork in right the first time.
With an eye for detail and an abundance of patience, Edwin spent about 4 hours on this piece of baleen, making sure that everything was in proportion and met his satisfaction. As he put the finishing touches on the artwork and signed his name to it, the beauty of his masterpiece came to life. Insight to his world outside, the polar bear, the caribou, the grassy tundra that surrounds Wainwright, all reflections of Edwin's world. Another reflection came from the tusks of an adult male walrus that Edwin had recently carved on.
That's my walrus head. You're looking at a bowhead, a spotted seal, and an orca. Over here. Now when there's a bearded seal, then there's 4 beluga whales, and then there's another large bowhead.
These are just some of the things that these Inupiat people know. And it is a beautiful thing.
The storm passes over till the thunder sounds no more.
Another beautiful thing is this group of young people, the New Generation Youth Group. They sing for one reason, Jesus. This year, the New Generation Youth Group traveled to Anchorage to perform in the 2003 Musicale, an annual Native Christian music festival. It was an experience that this group will not soon forget. They still remember exactly how they were feeling moments before taking the stage.
Shaking. Nervous and sweating.
All of a sudden, everybody needed to use the bathroom.
And all at the same time, nonetheless. But without hesitating, these youth went up on stage and gave the performance of a lifetime. It took a lot of courage and inner strength to go before a crowd of more than 1,500 people. But when you are Inupiat, raised in Wainwright, Alaska, courage and strength are things that you are born with and will have forever. As Helen Peetook put it so well.
Wainwright, I could say Wainwright is the best place in Alaska, maybe. You can go anywhere you want to go, but it's, well, to be honest, it's, there's no place like home. Yeah, there's no place like home.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. It's a pleasure bringing this program to you, and thank you, Wainwright, Alaska, for inviting us to your beautiful village. In the next few weeks, we'll be traveling north once again to Barrow, Alaska. Thank you all for joining us. God bless every single one of you. Don't forget, tune in while we travel across the north.
Of Jesus, reaching higher far than the brightest stars, sweeter than the songs they sing in heaven. Let the world proclaim what a lovely name. Blinded eyes, cause the dead to rise.
Yeah.